Hello, my name is Jack Dillman, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. Passed in 2010, this act is more commonly known as Obamacare. Throughout the remainder of the speech, I'm going to outline some of the problems that Obamacare has had, as long as the causes of these problems, and some of the solutions that we can take to fix these. Now, despite being considered a leading nation in today's world, the United States does not have an effective healthcare system relative to other leading nations. For example, in the country of Sweden, from the taxes that the citizens pay, if they were to call an ambulance, they would pay $0. While if the average American citizen called an ambulance, they would end up paying thousands of dollars for that ambulance. The United States healthcare system is the most expensive in the entire world. Despite paying more, the average American citizen receives little to no extra benefit for the extra money they pay. While many presidents have tried, most have failed to pass comprehensive, wide-scale healthcare reform, with Obama being the first to succeed in a long time in the passing of Obamacare in 2010. Both Presidents FDR and Bill Clinton both failed in their attempts to pass healthcare reform, due to fierce opposition by powerful opposing groups. Despite being passed over 2 years ago, fierce opposition still exists today for the Affordable Care Act. With every problem Obamacare has faced along the way, there has been an issue of problems with the act reflecting negatively on not only Barack Obama, but the entire Democratic Party, causing concern for the future. One of the problems that the Affordable Care Act faced in its earlier days was a decision by the Supreme Court of the United States over whether the act was constitutional or not. In a very controversial decision, the Supreme Court came down with the ruling 5-4 in favor of Obamacare, ruling that the act in fact was constitutional and would remain law. Another problem that Obamacare has faced along the way is with the rolling out of programs provided for under the act, creating even more opposition and mountains of negative press, such as the one-stop-shop healthcare.gov government website, which was not only rolled out 3 weeks late, but was also poorly built and unsafe for users. Also a problem is that a lot of people are still very unsure about how exactly Obamacare benefits them and why they would even want to enroll in it, versus just keeping their own insurance and paying the tax. There are countless guiding websites out there for the act, along with this Obamacare for Dummies book I found in my grandparents' basement. A belief held by many today is that some of the problems facing the act are being caused intentionally by the Republican Party. Some have gone so far as to call the act socialist, with the government being too involved in citizen welfare, with Republicans leaning towards less regulation, with more free market principles, such as private insurance. Such as right now, 25 traditionally red states or Republican states are causing problems with Obamacare by not expanding their Medicaid programs, which is a fundamental part of the Affordable Care Act. But the thing is, these 25 states that are holding out just so happen to be some of the worst states for quality healthcare already. This is nothing new, though, as the GOP does not support previous healthcare reforms such as Medicare or Medicaid passed in the 1960s, with Medicare being a federal program that covers people 65 or older and those on Social Security disability, with Medicaid covering low-income and financially needy individuals, including those over 65. Another cause of some of the problems that Obamacare has been put in is that when situations do rise, they've been poorly handled, which has only made things worse, such as the many budget crises we have had in the past couple of years, with things getting so bad that the government has even shut down over the federal budget and debt ceiling. A cause of one of the problems I mentioned earlier, the healthcare.gov website, which was supposed to be an efficient, streamlined way for Americans to purchase and manage their healthcare, ended up being a complete mess, with many criticizing the government of cutting corners and not hiring the correct people to design, build, and implement the healthcare.gov website effectively. While many problems have already arisen for the act, and I'm sure there are more to come, the act has already faced a lot of extreme opposition in a little bit over 3 years, with I'm sure more to come in the future. For as many problems as there are just as many good, effective solutions, which I'm sure Republicans and Democrats will argue over, which would seem what they're best at. One solution, which is a very long-term one, but is extremely important, is for the Democratic Party to gain a majority in the House, which they do not hold now, as they are down 32 members to the Republicans, but also in the future to retain their majority of the Senate, with everything being up for grabs in the next set of congressional elections. One thing that the Obama administration must do in the future is to handle the bumps in the road much more competently and do their best to prevent these problems from arising altogether. Because right now, a president's legacy, the future of the Democratic Party, and the health of the American people hangs in the balance.